Mama. She doesn't like being held. My precious. Okay. She's gonna attack me. All right, guys. So I wanted to make a video today about the 10 things they don't tell you before you get locks. Is it worth it? I would say yeah, definitely. This is my biggest considerations before you get locks. So, number one, if you're used to getting protective styles all the time, obviously you're gonna miss it. If you are used to getting box braids, as a protective style to help your hair during the winter time or during the summer because it's easier, you're gonna miss that quality of having natural hair and like being able to switch it up and have that variety whenever you want to. Number two, dyeing and bleaching your hair becomes slightly more complicated. One of the biggest things that you have to consider when you're dyeing your hair or bleaching your hair, you have to squeeze in the product. That's like a big deal. So if you're, already not comfortable doing that situation, you might have to pay somebody out of pocket to help you dye your hair or bleach your hair if you're trying to change the color. Or you might just have to do a little bit more research before you decide to do that big of a commitment. Because I did my hair, and one of the things that really dawned on me was that processing it created a little bit more damage to my hair. So dealing with it now, it's a little bit harder than if it were natural. Whereas I could, just do a few masks or something and then I'll be all right after a while. But when it comes to locks, your maintenance, it's a little different. Number three, washing it. Wash days are already a day-long job. If you have a lot of hair, it becomes an even longer job. And taking the time to wash, condition, dry, depending on if you air dry or underneath the dryer or whichever way you have to go about it, it just takes a bit longer because like I said before, with dyeing your hair or bleaching it, you have to squeeze that product in. Whereas with washing, you have to make sure that you're really getting that product out and there's not any soap left over. And if you're doing your hair yourself, it's gonna take all day. Like that's inescapable regardless of if you have natural hair or locked hair. Number four, making sure that product isn't building up in your hair and being careful when you twist or have maintenance days. That buildup can create, funk. It can make it, get dirtier quicker because there's so much product. And you don't necessarily have to use a lot of product, or at least I haven't in my case, because that product will build up and it'll just, it'll lead to more wash days more often, where kind of locks, it's like you wake up and you let them go. I mean, you can do a little maintenance to them if you want. It's really just up to you. Some days I'll go, I won't even touch it. Other days, like today, I actually put a little bit of effort into it and sprayed some oils and stuff. And then I, just gave it a little bit of moisture. But yeah, too much of anything can be a bad thing. And that includes product. So, number five, dry hair. This is what I deal with currently after bleaching my hair. So trust me when I say that dry hair is something you're gonna have to deal with eventually, just because the process of locking your hair up is pretty much like letting your hair just mat together. So that leads to, dryness and things of that sort. But you just kind of have to find the in-between. For me, it's been, okay, some days I have to wake up and spray my hair with oil, rose water, and help it get some of that moisture that it's seeking. But now that my hair is officially locked, I can kind of get away with doing certain things with it. Whereas when I was first locking up, I had to kind of not let it get moisture. I'll say that's what helped me lock it the quickest. Finding the in-between of having dry hair, healthy hair, or just in the middle. Really, it's just gonna depend on you and your hair and how it responds to certain things. If your hair can't get oil and too much oil is gonna make it greasy, that's every person is different. Okay, number six, you still need brushes and combs, okay? Because when I first got locks, I threw out all of my hair supplies And I was like, I don't need none of this no more. I'm done with it. You know what I mean? I was just convinced that once I got locks, I didn't need any of that stuff. But you still need brushes and combs, okay? You can do your edges, whatever you want to do. Me and my mom, we let our roots grow out sometimes so we can brush those out and comb them out when you're doing your maintenance. If you're getting a retwist, you can use the comb. If you do it yourself, you comb it, comb the product in, and then you twist it up. So it just really depends on the person as far as how many you need, but you definitely still need them. Do not throw them away, okay? Okay, good. We're on the same page. Number 7, this one is like my personal favorite because once your hair is locked up, pretty much some people, I'll say some people, it depends on the person obviously, but your hair can grow faster than it ever has before. So this can be a good or bad thing. Like if you already have bad shrinkage, well, I won't say bad. If you already have a lot of shrinkage and you're not used to seeing vertical length of your hair, you can prepare yourself by expecting your hair to grow a lot because it's, you know, you're allowing it to grow vertically. Even though it's in spirals still, it's gonna grow quicker. In my experience, it has grown quicker, and this is the longest my hair has ever been. Like, it's pretty long now, and this is going on 3 years. It's the start of my 3rd year. So yeah, that's the longest my hair has ever been. I'm super pumped about that actually, but this is, I would say this is one thing that you don't hear a lot, or I guess the rate at which it grows is something that's kind of unexpected. Like when I started my locks, I didn't expect to be here at 3 years. Like I thought it was gonna take forever, but my junk grew pretty freaking quick. And everyone that I've known, their hair has pretty much been the same way, that they've just been able to grow it way quicker than they have. All right, number 8. This is one of my least favorite things. When I put my hair up, I get freaking tension headaches, and they are the absolute worst. Every time I put my hair up, I get a headache. I guess because it's so heavy right now, that might be something that deters you away from getting locks. It might be the case for you, or it might not. Me and my mom have talked about this, and we both get them pretty bad. So if you're not like into that, into headaches, if you're not into headaches, you might not want to get locks. Okay, anyways. So the heavier that your hair gets, obviously, the more tension it's gonna create. So just be prepared for that. You might want to start wearing hairstyles down instead of hairstyles up. You feel me? I hope you feel me. Okay, let's move on. Okay, number 9. This is like kind of rare, but I have seen it and I've not necessarily experienced it, but I could tell that there's, you know, that idea floating around. But there is a dirty stigma attached to locks, like people don't keep their hair clean, and that is totally untrue. So if you've ever like thought about getting locks but you didn't want to get them because of the dirty stigma, then I would say completely disregard that. Just like any normal person with general hygiene or, you know, good hygiene practices, that's going to be something that's really dependent on you and you individually. So if you're a person that can't, you know, keep up with their hygiene, it might not be the best option. But if you can, you know, obviously you're gonna follow a decent wash routine or whatever, you're fine. Don't buy into that. It's really not true. I haven't seen, or anyone that I have that has locks, you know, they're the same way. They keep their locks clean and they maintain them because it's something that they genuinely care about. So if that's something that you've heard before or has thrown you off from locks, I say don't pay any mind to that. If you want them, go get them. Get them. Get them. I fucking love them. Go get them. Number 10. This is the last one. Obviously, if you want to get them and then you change your mind, if you're in the early stages, you know, you can easily comb them out if they haven't locked yet. Or if you've seen it through the awkward phase and you're just like, these aren't for me, I'm not feeling it. That part gets a little tricky. I mean, you're going to have to consider either cutting your hair or combing it out. That's really your only 2 options. My mom actually talked to me about some lock extensions. She was like, if I get tired of it one day, I might cut it off and then use my pieces as as lock extensions. Like if I want to put them back in, I can put them back in. So yeah, if you want them gone, it's like you have to make a big decision. But if you want them back, you know, you can keep them if that's what you're into. If you wanted to do that, I would definitely suggest you wash and keep them clean. You know, don't put them somewhere they're gonna get dirty or whatever. But yeah, keep them clean, wash them. And if you decide to do that, do that. Hey, it's up to you. If you just want to, you know, change your style up a little bit, that's obviously understandable. Locks are very, like, for me, they've been very versatile. But say if I got tired of them tomorrow and wanted to cut them off, I could potentially do that if I wanted to. And then I just actually recently learned this from my sister about a few years ago, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. It was before I got my locks, but my sister was like, she was probably either the exact length as me or a little bit less than me, but she had pretty long locks, and she decided one day that she wanted to comb them out, and she did. And before that, I was like, you can't comb out locks. Like, you gotta cut them off. Like, that's the only way out. What are you talking about? She sat for an entire week and combed out her own locks. This girl is in middle school and combed out her own locks. Like, what? I didn't even know that was a thing. But yeah, so you can also comb them out if you are just tired of them, want to get rid of them. And I didn't know that personally. You might have known that. You know, I'm just learning along the way. But that is also a way out. So it's not like end all be all if you decide to get them. But yeah, those are my 10 things that they don't tell you before getting locks, or 10 things that I think are important enough to mention before you get locks. So if you thought that this video was helpful, or you know, you learned something new about locks, or if you're gonna go get them after seeing this video, leave me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. I want to hear about your experiences. If you've just started your lock journey, let me know what's going on. How are you liking it? Cause like my whole family is about to be a locked family. Me and my mom got them. My sister is thinking about getting them again. So like I'm fully supportive of if you decide to get them. So yeah, please let me know down below. I would love to hear your stories about them. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Okay, bye.